Fubara swears in Rivers Caretaker Committee chairman. 2 trapped, his building collapses in Ebonyi teaching hospital. Amid a surge in sickle cell cases, premarital genotype testing is being promoted as a panacea. And on a foreign scene, earthquake kills 4, injures 120 in northeastern Iran. Hello, welcome to News Update. I'm Lilian Ogazi. And to the news now. Rivers State's government, Siminalayi Fubara, has sworn in new caretaker chairman for the 23 local government areas of the state. The swearing ceremony took place on Wednesday at the government house in Port Harcourt, the state capital, amid tight security. The event followed a day after Governor Fubara forwarded the list to the State House of Assembly led by factional Speaker Victor Jumbo. State lawmakers had invited the nominees for screening as early as 8 a.m. on Wednesday. Meanwhile, amid crisis over local government administration in Rivers State, youth loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike, have gathered around the council premises of the Port Harcourt Local Government Council. Speaking to reporters, one of the leaders of the crowd, Maxwell Enwekwe, a former council executive and the president's coordinator grassroots development initiate in Falga, said they will resist any attempt by the new caretaker team to take over. The crowd has also refused to leave the Falga environment, which is stone throw from the Rivers State Government House. Meanwhile, 2 people were reportedly trapped inside a 3-story building under construction that collapsed on Tuesday evening in Abakaliki, the Ebonyi State capital. The collapsed building is located within the premises of the Alex Ekweme Federal University Teaching Hospital, Abakaliki. During a search and rescue operation, 1 person was rescued and rushed to the hospital for medical treatment, while another remained trapped inside the collapsed structure. A laborer who escaped from the building recounted that he managed to get away because he had stepped away to wash his hands. Ebonyi Police spokesperson DSP Joshua Okandu confirmed via chat that operatives and officials from the State Ministry of Works and Capital Development Authority are on the scene working to rescue the trapped laborer. Meanwhile, a mob on Monday evening lynched a suspected armed robber who allegedly stabbed an 18-year-old POS operator to death in Taraba State. The incident happened near the Yam Market in Wukari local government area. Reports said the girl who was attacked in her shop was a student preparing for a national examination council NECO. They said the lynched suspect entered the girl's shop as a customer and stabbed her after she resisted his attempt to rob her. The spokesperson of the police in the state, Gambo Kwachi, said the incident was being investigated. Moving on now, President Bola Tinubu has arrived in South Africa for the inauguration of President Cyril Ramaphosa's 2nd term in office. President Tinubu arrived at the Air Force Base Waterkloof Airport, Pretoria, on Wednesday. Other African leaders and global leaders are expected to attend the inauguration ceremony tomorrow. Recall that the ruling African Nation Congress lost its majority seats in parliament in recent national election in South Africa, forcing the anti-apartheid era that has governed South Africa since 1994 to share power with Democratic Alliance and other opposition parties in a government of national unity arrangement.
And Nigeria take this opportunity to also visit to strengthen our relationship. Nigeria and South Africa has come a long way. These are big players in the African continent, the biggest economies and the promoters of democracy. Today we are celebrating another success of democracy. So it's very important that Nigeria is in this country today to be with the South African people to ensure that we continue to show example to others.
Now moving away from that, the approval of the National Assembly for the purchase new aircraft for the presidential fleet has been generating criticism from the public as Nigerians continue to decry the state of the economy. From political opposition figures like the Labour Party presidential candidate Peter Obi, who described the move as insensitive to Nigerians, the plan has come under heavy criticism despite government's pushback. Noel Sampson has more.
The federal government has faced heavy criticism over its spending plans, which many believe do not reflect the reality of Nigeria's economy. According to public commentator Elias Ugadu, it is unwise for the presidency to acquire new presidential jets costing billions of naira. Given the current economic situation, it suggests seeking alternative solutions instead.
Now, without even looking at how much it's going to cost the country to buy these two airplanes, we have to look at the economic conditions that Nigerians are surviving on. And it's so there. And in the middle of all this, to hear that we're going to expend billions of naira to buy new aircraft, to purchase new aircraft for Mr. President and his wives, is the height of gross insensitivity. Speaking
to some FCT residents, they expressed divergent reactions regarding whether a new presidential jet should be acquired or not.
For Nigeria government to afford one new brown private jet for our president, when the economy of the country is too bad, there is no improvement in the government. There is no improvement in the life of Nigeria.
I'm not in support, and I'm in support because you can't risk the president's life. That's another one, and that's not the major issue right now on ground. So we should fix what needs to be fixed, or probably let them fix the old one for the meantime.
I'm in support of the government, the federal government, to get a new private jet for the president, because it's not good to risk the life of the president as in the president of the country. So I'm in support of the federal government. They should make, if the money is there, they should get him a new private jet.
In support of Amo.
Why?
See many things where they happen for the nation, where people are hungry, no wages, increasement, they cannot make it above the 62, and they want to buy presidential jet for president. So the nation is like the government, they don't know what this Nigeria is needed and what people are facing.
Nigerians are hopeful that the presidency will take the necessary and appropriate actions during this challenging time. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Now moving away from that, public commentators and passengers in Jos, the Plateau state capital, have voiced their opinions on the recent introduction of the rail transportation system between Jos and Burundi metropolis. Residents consider the initiative a welcome development, noting that the rail system will significantly improve transportation in the state. Ado Musa completes the story.
A month ago, Governor Caleb Mutfwang introduced a free rail transportation system between Jos North and Jos South, covering a distance of 3 stations. According to the state government, the introduction of the train aims to cushion the effect of the fuel subsidy removal by the federal government, which has led to a high cost of living in the country. Passengers are expressing their views on the revival of the rail transportation system in the state.
The experience is amazing. It's one of a kind and top-notch. Yeah, I really want to appreciate Mutfwang and the railway people. Like, you guys are doing amazing. Thank you for bringing this medium of transportation. It is subsidized and it is helping us. Thank you so much. May God bless and increase you people and take Plateau State to a greater height.
I was given that 25 years ago, but I've not seen the train moving, and today I'm inside the train. So I'm so happy. I thought I wanted, if I'm entering, I was just looking at for inside so that I'll give him a good handshake.
It's actually a good experience. It's fun because this is actually my first time going on a train to get ahead, and it's a nice initiative actually. If the government can maintain the existence of train transportation here in Jos.
Professor Sabo Ahmad, a lecturer at the Medical School of the University of Jos and a public commentator, also shares his views on the introduction of the rail system in the state.
It is a form of transportation that take care of mass movement of goods and people. So it is essential for any economy, whether it is a developing economy or already a developed economy. Its cost effectiveness is a reflection of the ingenuity of man in putting this machine on the rail. The fact that the governor of Plateau State, Barrister Caleb, His Excellency Barrister Caleb Mofwang, has taken a bold step in introducing train services within the metropolis is really commendable, because if we wait until a foreign investor comes with a lot of money to do it for us, we'll never get there.
So, what impact will the rail system have on transportation in Plateau State?
Not as of now, but eventually when it is improved upon and it becomes more regular, it will affect and bring down the cost of transportation. It's a question of demand and supply. When the supply of alternative transportation services like the train come into place, the tendency is that the forces of demand and supply will bring down the price. So that's what we think eventually. And the more we invite the private sector, the more sustainable it will become.
To an extent, it will affect transportation because it will bring succor to most of the passengers. But you know, train has its own route, and then other people who are traveling on other routes have their own routes too. But basically, it has bring succor, and then it has helped people on the plateau.
Rail transportation is one of the most efficient ways of transporting people and goods and promoting the economic development of a country. Residents, however, hope that the state government will ensure the adequate maintenance of the rail service in the state. Ado Musa, Trust TV News, Jos.
Meanwhile, residents of Makurdi, the Benue state capital, have declared the worsening power supply situation in the country and its attendant impact on businesses that rely on power for survival. Speaking to Trust TV on the situation, some residents said many are losing their sources of livelihoods with the continuous deterioration in electricity supply, vis-a-vis the biting economy of the present-day Nigeria. Jimmy Azande reports.
According to the residents, lack or inadequate power supply is one of the root causes of poverty in Nigeria. This is because most businesses depend on it to function, especially in urban settings.
If we don't address the root problems, because these startup businesses, apart from the taxes they are paying, they need energy to fund their businesses. So we already have on ground a well-known challenge that we don't have enough power being generated in the country.
The cost of petroleum for fueling of alternative sources like generators is made worse with the removal of fuel subsidy. Makurdi resident called this development a threat to small business holders and artisans.
Because electricity is a problem now. We are facing so many challenges in electricity. Sometimes they will give us light, they will flash it and take it. And our customers too, they are complaining of it.
How do I sell when there's no light? Because the person will tell me, how do I know it's working? The only way to assure the person is working is by testing it. So most gadgets I have here, electric stove, blender, and the rest of them. When I want to sell, I need a power source to test run it.
Experts say alternative power sources are available, but too exorbitant for struggling entrepreneurs in the state.
The power situation in Makurdi and in particular, my area is very, very epileptic. We get light less than 8 hours a day. So whether you like it or not, you have to look for an alternative source of power, which is very expensive. Buying fuel to run generator for 8 hours, it's very expensive. Most families cannot even bear.
In most part of the town, residents rarely have access to power supply for the domestic use, let alone for business purposes. It is a sad development for many that despite the huge resources allegedly spent on power supply in Nigeria, major cities like Makurdi are still in darkness for the most part of every day. Jimmy Azande, Trust TV News, Makurdi.
This is Trust TV News coming to you from Trust TV. Coming up, we'll take a look at a display of cultural richness and heritage. More news when we return. Do stay. You are welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Updates coming to you from Trust TV. Let's take a look at our headline stories again. Fubara swears in Rivers Caretaker Committee chairman. 2 trapped as building collapses in Ebonyi Teaching Hospital. Now moving on. Nigeria has over 40 million carriers of sickle cell gene, with an estimated 150,000 babies born every year with the condition, with at least 100,000 babies dying before their 5th birthday. With the rise in the record of deaths and babies in adults, the significance of premarital genotype panacea has been identified as captured in this report by Trust TV's Amarachi Amushi.
Sickle cell diseases is a struggle that many Nigerians have endured for years, as highlighted by the reports from the Sickle Cell Disorder Registry, Nigeria. The high birth and death rates associated with sickle cell diseases in Nigeria are a significant cause for concern. This disease not only brings numerous crises for patients, but also often leads to the breakdown of families with sickle cell sufferers. In light of this, many Nigerians are advocating for a broader perspective when choosing a life partner, suggesting that consideration should extend beyond love and tradition to include the potential impact on future generations.
My advice for people is that before you get married, no matter how the way you love that person, make sure you go for your genotype, for your test.
Residents of the FCT emphasized how sickle cell diseases can be mitigated and what the government can do to assist in this effort.
Yeah, I think just like every other diseases out there, it's better we start with awareness, let me put it that way. Government should have maybe more jingles on radios and television. Government should try to make provision for their treatment and every other thing they might need.
Religious leaders have also been reminded to advocate for genotype testing during marriage counseling and to ensure that couples undergo the test thoroughly.
In terms of religion, the pastors during marriage counseling, that's what they used to call it. They're supposed to educate them before getting married, and if possible, check whether they have already done the test.
Amid this economic crisis and financial stability in Nigeria, an FCT resident suggests that the government improve treatment for financial disadvantaged individuals living with sickle cell diseases.
The way out is just our government should just help us, and if it is by deducting money from their account, maybe someone that is standing for the person, maybe deducting the money in their account every month, maybe by month end. Speaking to a lab scientist, he described the sickle cell disease genotype as one of the biggest causes of family breakdowns in Nigeria, noting that it also consumes significant financial resources.
We've seen several cases whereby marriages are being break down as a result of this scourge called sickle cell disease, due to some economic implications. When you have a patient like that in the family, it takes more of your finances, it takes more of your mental well-being. So it is advisable and it is expedient as well that every intending couple should ensure that the genotype testing is done.
Creating more awareness about the importance of premarital genotype testing and making it a compulsory law before marriage registration or copulation will play a vital role in reducing the incidence of sickle cell disease in Nigeria. Amarachi Amoshi, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Durbers are a colorful thread woven into the fabric of northern Nigeria's cultural history, with famous Durbers in Kanu, Sokoto, Katsina, Bida, Akko Emirates, among many others. The event is characterized by a rich display of cultural extravaganza. Trust TV's Sagir Ibrahim is currently in Kwara State, observing the Eid festivities, and was at the Ilori Emirates Grand Durbar and brings us this piece.
As the Durbar begins, the Emir leads the entourage through the streets and designated routes in the city, waving to his subjects in a chariot amid a grand singing and dancing procession in company of horsemen. The Durbar is held to mark significant Islamic festivals such as Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. It is also held in honor of visiting dignitaries or to celebrate other important events. The Ilorin Durbar used to be celebrated in a smaller scale. However, in 2018, the current Emir, Sheikh Ibrahim Sulu Gambari, upgraded the event to a Grand Durbar to unite Ilorin sons and daughters all over the world.
The purpose for which the Emir established this Grand Durbar is to bring unity, to strengthen the unity among Ilorin people. Young, old, in or out, wherever you may be, recognize yourself as Ilorin, behave like Ilorin people, and also act as an Ilorin person.
Durbar is a part of the Northern Nigerian heritage. So we use that one to bring home all the children and daughters of Ilorin once in a year, so that they be able to promote the tradition and culture.
Based on our motto, we say for the love of our people. So the tradition, this thing is used to come up once in a year, and all these things about the tradition, what our forefathers, what they usually do, how they usually do it. That's why it's used to bring everyone together. So in fact, this thing is very, very, very interesting.
Aside the procession around town, other prominent activities during the Durbar is a display of horsemanship, cultural exhibition, and music and dance. While the Durbar remains one of the few means of preserving the culture and traditions of northern Nigeria, concerns remain about younger Nigerians and even Africans losing connection with their roots. Why?
It's just the globalization. It's globalization because they can sit in the comfort of their room to watch other cultures. And of course, we are not placing our own before them. Indeed. Before the current cultural misplacement, we do have our ways of doing things. And that is why we decided to put this one in place so that during Salah like this, they can now have an insight into what our culture is.
Despite all of these, the Durbar remains one of northern Nigeria's display of prestige, royalty, cultural richness, and horse riding heritage, filled with colors and a marvel to behold. From Ilorin, the Kwara State capital, Sagir Ibrahim for Trust TV News.
Thank you, Sagi, for that rich, beautiful display of our culture. Now moving over to the foreign scene, 4 people were killed and 120 others injured in an earthquake in northeastern Iran on Tuesday. Officials said Iran State TV reported that the magnitude 5.0 quake jolted the town of Kashmir, located about 800 kilometers east of the capital. The Iran rescue teams have been deployed to the region and 3 temporary camps have been set up. Now, according to Red Crescent officials, Iran, which lies on major seismic faults, experiences an average of 1 earthquake per day. In 2003, a magnitude 6.6 earthquake flattened the historic city of Bam, killing 26,000 people. A magnitude 7 earthquake that struck western Iran in 2017 killed more than 600 people and injured over 9,000 people. The recent earthquake also affected parts of Turkmenistan and Afghanistan. With that, we've come to the end of News Update here on Trust TV. Do also follow us across all our social media platforms for more news programs and documentaries. My name is Lilian Ogazi. Thanks for watching and bye for now.